going to try and do a very quick video today. I've got some leftover roast chicken that I've picked off the bird. We've got about 250 grams there. So I'm going to make a chicken pie, and with that I'm going to do some mashed potato and some cumin carrots. First we'll start with the pastry. For the pastry, I'm going to get 500 grams of flour. Going to add a pinch of salt to that, and then 250 grams of cold diced butter. Then we're going to rub these together until they become like breadcrumbs. Once you've worked all the butter into the flour, just going to make a well in the middle and add 100 ml of cold water. Then just going to start mixing that in with a fork until it starts to come together. And then we're going to get our hands in there. Mine's still looking a little bit dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more water, just a drop more. And once it's getting ready, it should start all coming away from the side of the bowl. Put it onto a board, just make a nice simple log like that. Grab a knife, and we want 1/3 of it to be the top and 2/3 of it to be the base. So cut it down there. Give the top bit a bit of a squash down, and give the bottom bit a squash down. This is a good workout. That's going to help when it comes to rolling it later. And then we're just going to wrap these in cling film, and then we're going to let these rest in the fridge while we get on with the rest of it. So the pastry is in the fridge relaxing. I've prepped up some of the veg. So for the filling here, we've got 2 onions that I've diced up, 1 leek which I've sliced up, about 150 grams worth of mushrooms which I've quartered. I've got 150 grams of smoked lardons, and I've picked about 250 grams of chicken off the carcass. So I'm going to grab a pan, get that on the heat, get a little touch of oil in there. I'm going to go straight in with the lardons because we want them to cook slowly so all the fat renders in. While that's going, we can start on the actual sauce of the pie. So this is going to come in 2 bits. You're going to have the actual filling and then the sauce which goes on top. So get a pan on the heat there, grab 25 grams of butter, and we just want to get that butter to melt. So the fat's starting to come off the bacon. Our butter has almost completely melted. Now to that butter, I'm going to add 25 grams of flour. And let that cook out for a little bit. This is a basic roux. Now we'll cook that roux out for a little while. And then to that, we're going to add 300 millilitres of chicken stock. And then give that a whisk. I'm going to add some pepper to it. Right. That's bubbled away for a little while, so I'm going to turn the heat off of that, and that is your basic sauce to go in your pie. What I want to do with that, transfer it to a bowl. When it comes to assembling the pie, we want all the parts of it to be cold, because otherwise it will ruin the pastry. We'll just leave that to one side to cool down. So the fat has rendered off the lardons, getting a nice smoky flavour. Lardons are getting some nice colour. To that we're going to add, firstly, the onions. Just going to give those a stir and cook out for a couple of minutes. So we're starting to get some colour on the onions. Then to that, we're going to add our chopped leeks. and again we're going to give it a stir and let it cook out for a couple of minutes. Time for the side dishes. Got a pan on with 3 potatoes in there and some salted water. I'm going to let those potatoes cook, they're going to make the mash. For the carrots, I've got a pan here heating up. To that, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of cumin seeds. It's in a dry pan at the moment. And just start getting some aromatics off those. So to that, we're now going to add a drop of olive oil. Then we're going to add our 3 carrots that we've already chopped. And we're just going to let those sweat off for a bit. Now that they've cooked for about a minute, we're going to cover them with just enough water so they are just covered. And to that, I'm going to add 25 grams of butter, around about a teaspoon of honey. Now that's just going to cook down. The sauce is all going to water, I should say. It's all going to just cook down, and you're going to end up with this nice, sweet, buttery sauce that goes with the carrots. So while that's all cooking, we can start with the pastry. So we've got the potatoes cooking, carrots cooking. We can now start assembling the pie. I've preheated the oven to 190. This is the dish I'm going to cook my pie in. It's enough for, well, 4 people, but there's only 2 of us eating. First of all, I'm just going to liberally coat it with butter. So that's going to stop the pastry from sticking. And then to the buttered dish, I'm going to add a tablespoon of flour. And just knock that all around the dish. And then get rid of the excess. So the dish is prepared. Time to start on the pastry. Going to do the base first. We'll get the biggest bit of pastry out. Get some flour on your worktop. Then we'll start rolling it out. So once you've rolled it out to the desired size, and it's about pound coin thickness, I'm going to line our dish. When you're lining your dish, make sure you get right into the corners. Then we're going to grab our pie filling, which is cooled down. We're going to chuck that right in the middle. That's your filled pie. Now we just do the top. So I've got my bit of pastry ready for the top. But before we pull it on, I'm going to grab an egg. Down a quick whisk. Then we're just going to brush around the edge of the pastry with the egg to help the 2 bits bind together. We'll just lay that on top. And grab a fork and just give it a nice crimp on the edge. Then grab a knife and trim off the excess. Then make a couple of little holes in the top. Let some steam escape while it's cooking. Then with the remainder of the egg, give it a nice egg wash. Then that's going to go in the oven for about 40 minutes while the potatoes and the carrots are cooking. Be back in a bit. So the carrots are nearly done. It's all reduced down quite nicely. You get this nice buttery sauce. Potatoes have just finished off by mashing up with some butter and some whole grain mustard and some seasoning. And the pie's just about to come up the oven, so it's time to serve. So there we have leftover chicken pie with mustard mash and cumin carrots. Enjoy!